Good morning, and welcome to the Maturango Museum's tour of Lower Renegade Canyon. This short presentation will describe tour procedures, do's and don'ts for the trip, and will reiterate much of the information you received by mail when your request for this tour was approved. Lower Renegade Canyon, also known as Little Petroglyph Canyon, is located on the northern range of the Naval Air Weapons Station, China Lake, and is part of the Coso Rock Art District, which encompasses the largest concentration of ancient rock art in the Western Hemisphere. At about 1.5 miles long, the canyon is nestled in Wild Horse Mesa at an altitude of about 5,000 feet. It is in the middle of an active military test and training range, although the canyon itself is not used for military operations. Since we are going on a military base, we must follow military regulations. Petroglyph tours are limited by the Navy to 5 vehicles plus 2 more for the escorts, so depending on the size of the tour, carpooling may be required. Our first step will be to consolidate the caravan here at the museum parking lot, and then check in at China Lake's main gate for a vehicle inspection and orientation. All vehicles will be inspected by Navy security personnel at the gate. The inspection will focus on driver's documents, approved footwear, prohibited items, and a briefing on safety, security, and the current conditions of the canyon. All drivers will need to show a current, valid driver's license, current proof of insurance, and current vehicle registration. Without these, you will not be allowed to drive on the base. There will be an ID check for participants, and you may be asked for proof of citizenship. Navy regulations require proper footwear to participate in the Petroglyph Tour due to the hiking conditions in the canyon. These pictures show typical examples of approved footwear. Note that all have thick soles with an aggressive tread pattern for hiking over boulders. These are examples of footwear that are prohibited on the tours because of a lack of tread and lack of protection to the feet. The Navy is very serious about this requirement. If you do not have proper footwear, you will not be allowed on the tour. Navy regulations prohibit the following items: pets, firearms, even if you have a permit, recreational drugs, and medical marijuana. Over-the-counter and prescription medications are allowed, but only if they are in properly labeled containers. Alcohol is strictly prohibited. If found in your vehicle, you will not be allowed to dispose of it, nor will you be allowed to continue on the tour. Navy regulations further require that we travel to and from the canyon as a group, with the escorts leading the way and bringing up the rear. If an emergency return back to Ridgecrest is required, you must be escorted. Do not use cameras or binoculars until we are in the canyon. The escort will let you know when it is okay to use them. Do not use CB radios while on Navy property. All cell phones must be turned off and stowed until we arrive at the canyon. Cell phones may be used for photography once we are down inside the canyon. The 45-mile drive to the canyon will take about an hour. The first 40 miles are paved, and the last 5 miles are graded dirt. Passenger cars should have no problem making the trip. We will park at the canyon for the tour. Again, the canyon is about 1.5 miles long. We come back the same way we go in, so if your tour leader decides to take the group all the way to the end of the canyon, the distance of your hike will be about 3 miles. We will leave the canyon at about 2:30 p.m. for the return trip to the Maturango Museum. The museum closes at 5 p.m. For this trip, your vehicle needs to be in good condition with a full tank of gas. Again, since we are restricted to 5 vehicles plus escorts, we will carpool if necessary. When leaving the canyon's parking area, watch out for desert creatures near or under your car. Here in the Upper Mojave Desert, the weather can be variable and change is rapid. Generally the days are clear, but it may be hot in the spring and cold in the fall. Snow falls in the winter. Rain, possibly with sudden showers and flash floods, may occur in the early spring. Because of the changeable weather, layered clothing is a good idea. We recommend long pants and a long-sleeved shirt, even in hot weather, for protection from the sun. A broad-brimmed hat works better than a baseball cap. Sunblock and sunglasses will greatly increase your comfort. We recommend 2 liters of water at a minimum. The air is very dry, and you can dehydrate before you know it. Bring your lunch and snacks, as we usually eat down canyon. Be aware that glass containers are strictly prohibited in the canyon. Hiking sticks are allowed, as long as the tip is made of rubber or wood. Steel-tipped hiking sticks are not allowed. Cameras, binoculars, and GPS are permitted, but may only be used in the canyon. There are restroom facilities at the parking area. These are standard National Park Service pit toilets. There are no facilities down the canyon. Everything you carry down the canyon must be brought back. You must stay with an escort at all times, and you must stay on the canyon floor. Climbing on the canyon walls is not allowed. If you have a medical condition, tell one of your escorts so they can be prepared. If you need to return to your vehicle before the tour is over, one of the escorts must go with you. At any point, if you feel you cannot continue, say so. An escort will stay with you or help you back to your vehicle. Petroglyphs, archaeological artifacts, and wildlife are protected by state and federal law. To avoid damaging the petroglyphs, do not touch them or make rubbings. Do not pick up artifacts or attempt to pick up wildlife, and smoking is prohibited in the canyon. In general, use common sense and be a good steward. Take only pictures, leave only footprints. The canyon consists of a lot of boulders and a lot of sand, so take it slow. It can be very slippery walking over sand-covered rock. About halfway down the canyon, there are 2 drop-offs where you will need to scramble over the boulders. This is the first. The drop here is about 8 feet with very little to hang on to. Water is typically present in early spring, making this section even more of a challenge. This second drop is about 20 feet, but access is easier than the previous one. Here, water is typically present through mid-spring. And remember, going down these drop-offs is only half the battle, since we will have to climb back up on the return trip. Your guides can assist anyone who needs help in getting through these 2 sections. It should be noted that during the winter months, November through February, Navy policy prohibits tours from going beyond the first drop-off for safety reasons. Depending on the time of year, snakes and scorpions may be present in the canyon. Always look before you put your hands or feet anywhere. Range debris is military hardware left by test and training operations. It is possible, but highly unlikely, that range debris will be found in the canyon. If you see anything that looks military, do not touch it, and be sure to inform your guide. Your escorts are museum volunteers who are donating their time to lead tours. They have received training from the Navy on tour and emergency procedures. Lower Renegade Canyon is part of a National Historic Landmark and has been preserved and made available by the stewardship of the Navy, especially the Naval Air Weapons Station, China Lake. We owe the Navy a vote of thanks for preserving this spectacular archaeological site. The canyon is considered sacred to Native Americans. Enjoy your visit, but please respect this unique area where, for thousands of years, ancient people from another world left their legacy on the rocks.